Hello, and welcome back to Hourglass Episode 3. Season 2, Episode 3. Hello, welcome back. I am going to record just a little teeny tiny intro here and show a part of the Caves and Cliffs update. So we're in 118 now, obviously. So part of this server we had picked for the caves that were under spawn. So we've seen a lot from above ground where the cave or where the cliffs are, but I wanted to spend probably a lot of time this episode in the underground, in the caves. So we already have several farms in this area. So this staircase that goes up there takes us up to the surface. Pants has already done this is a TNT duping tree farm. It does all the types of wood that grow straight. So it does oak, birch, jungle, and spruce. It doesn't do acacia, dark oak, or the nether variants. But we've got plans for those. And then we've also got the super smelter is actually tucked inside this part of the cave. And obviously we've been using it. And then also we've got the iron farm. There's the chorus fruits growing over there. It's not exactly safe. I put it there. Shh, don't tell anyone. I put it up. It's not mob proof though, because mobs can spawn on the top of those chorus fruits. And then we have over on this far side, actually we might even get a sneak peek where Electra's working. Oh yeah, there's Electra working hard. This is the Kelp Farm. I hadn't seen it yet, but we were gonna put it in the aquifer, but he found a type of farm that doesn't require it to be in the water. So we still put it over there because this whole cave, everything from I think 512 roughly, this is the chunk border here. Everything that way is in the spawn chunk. So what I think I'm going to do first as part of my time spent underground this week is I'm going to try my hand at these. No one else has really shown an interest to make these flying farms. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with my own configuration for these in this area. So I don't know if they will all be combined or if I'll do like one really big one for the dripstone. But I thought it would really fit this area too. So we won't hopefully have to terraform too much because it'll make sense that stuff is growing up here because it kind of already is. So this is where I'm going to leave you off, and what I'll do is if I'm able to come up with a design and decorate it and make it look cool, I'll do a time lapse. Otherwise I'll just bring you back in and show you the results, show you what we came up with. So I will be right back. And welcome back. Guys, I have a couple updates. And when I turn around, you're going to be very surprised because not much has gotten done. And I did end up tearing a bunch of the natural generated area out. So let me explain a few things. So the very first is that I tested the flying machine that I know of over here. And it has trapdoor activators. Also, it's very loud, that you just flip. And so you can build this at any level. And then as long as you have a way to trigger, these are observers. As long as you have a way to trigger the observer, then it goes back and forth. So this was me testing to make sure that I remembered how to do the flying machine that I thought I knew. And it took me a couple tries, but chat helped remind me I had originally put the observers on top of where the pistons go. If that happens, it doesn't get pushed. So it just stayed there because it's attached to this bit of slime right here. That slime block pulls the observer with it. And without that, it just stayed there. It went one space out. Also, oh, I have no idea who's over here. I thought I was all alone in this cave. But the trick here was that instead of manually activating these, what I wanted to do was to find a way to like run daylight sensors to them so that they would trigger a couple times like at night, or like, so when the day changed to night and night changed to day. I was trying to figure that out with my chat on stream. And we also were figuring out kind of what we wanted this area to look like. So what you'll see here is my sample, my testing. These are not the correct blocks. They were just blocks I happened to have in my inventory that were different than stone, so I could visualize it. But basically what I was thinking we could do is have, so this dripstone here is kind of the more obvious example. Right here is, oh, I fell down. Right here, this like kind of step down, I was thinking of making 4 tiers, one for each of the farmable items. So we have the warped vine, the nether vine, or I guess they're vines. They're vines. They're not the roots. The roots are the things that are on the ground. And then we also had bamboo and Zelda remembers. It was dripstone. So that's all the dripstone that I got from clearing this area out. And yes, we still need to make a farm. The only concern was with this idea, I was trying to think of a way to make it look mechanized, kind of steampunky. Couldn't really come up with anything on chat. Also, the bamboo requires a dirt type block. So I'm going to be a little bit constrained with the fact that it has to go on a dirt type block. These other blocks, dripstone has to go on dripstone, but the bamboo can't plant on dripstone. And then there's these 2 colors that, oh my gosh, are both vibrant, beautiful colors on their own, but they don't look great in the same area to me. I mean, maybe somebody likes this particular combination, but I try to always work with complementary colors as much as I can. So I hit a few kind of design snags. So the first one being with the daylight sensor, trying to figure out kind of how I wanted stuff to trigger. Also, keep in mind we are about 20 blocks below the surface here. So whatever I dig up into, I don't want to prevent future building. So then we were thinking about etho item hopper clocks, timers, and that solved that problem. But then chat had a really good idea of, oops, let me up. Excuse me, let me up. Chat had a really good idea of tucking the flying machines into the walls and having it like, you know, this machine that just comes out and goes and like tucks away. But then that's like piston doors. And so it just like, we had so many ideas flying around that Zelda got a little overwhelmed. I got a little overwhelmed. So I took a break from this project. As you can see, it's, you know, it's nice and prepped and it's ready to tackle again in a little bit. Also, one other thing, while we were down here, we now have an army of cats. So if you guys like tuxedo cats or these, I don't remember which ones these are. We'll just call them the blue eyes because they have gorgeous, pretty blue eyes. But if you like either of those types of cats, maybe drop some name suggestions because I have basically a whole litter now. So I will take some name suggestions for those cats. But in order to kind of stretch my legs, so to say, from this project area, I went up to work on these cats are not mine. Those are Pants's cats. Also, I'm looking for a bed because I saw what time it was and I don't want to go on the surface just yet. So we're going to go up now, but the break that I took from down here on farms, I went and I started working on more storage organization. So not any more planning. We have all the plans in place. The surface side has changed just ever so slightly, but I started working on the creeper farm. And now the first thing that some of you guys might notice is that the drop down was here. I don't know that I showed it in video, but we were going up and down to the creeper storage there. But this is our hostile mob storage. build, and ignore my mess, this is still a work in progress. The build is complete. Pants Are Nice made the build. Oh man, is somebody watching me? Should I be paranoid? That's the second time a rocket's gone off near me. What the heck? I don't see anyone. So random. So, Husker, is that you? Wolf, is that you? Where is everyone? I need to know. Inquiring minds. Oh, it is. Okay, it is Wolf. Okay. All right. I'm not hallucinating. Pants made the build. It's complete. My mess is because of the storage. So one of the first things we did was I put the the player drop chute and return elevator inside the build so that we could do the path here out to the lumberjack out there. So before, the up and down was like right in the middle of the path. But now what we have is a pressure plate with a trapdoor so that as you're coming up the stairs here, you don't accidentally walk into this. You pretty much walk over it and away. But if we want to go to check out the creeper farm, if there's something going on, if we're not getting drops or something, to check the redstone, it's all down here. And this is like the scariest place to be when there's creepers in there. I did not like this when I was working on the redstone and the tunnels down here. Just listen, y'all. Just listen. This is like nightmare sounds. Just triggers you. Or at least me. But basically when their bits come in here, they shoot out a dispenser in there. Ta-da! And it goes out the water is like back behind this wall. Obviously we're not gonna beat it up to the top, but I'll show you guys where it goes. So we have access down there if we need to get into the farm or change any amount of the like redstone if if something happens to it. So then the items come up the creeper farm comes up directly into this bulk storage for it now. We haven't AFK'd. This is just everything that I got while I was working either down or in this area today. And I'm going to do, I think what I want to do tonight is do an overnight AFK session to see kind of what we get in like one full night. Because Max just expanded and added 2 more slices to the farm, or like 2 more levels. Then the other thing, since this is meant to be all of the mob storage, it's going to actually come down here into the basement. And one of the ideas that I have for this build is that it's going to be sorted so that we don't have to manually sort everything. But I know that some of these hostile mob items, we're not going to end up with as many of. Like bones, we're not going to have as many bones because it'll either be bone meal from the moss farm, for example, or we're going to convert it into bone blocks for better storage. The same thing with this. Nautilus shells, we're having trouble getting nautilus shells on the server to make conduits, let alone to have them. So that's why there's a stick in that spot, because I don't even have one for like to mock out what I'm doing for storage here. But basically, so I know there's not going to be very much of some of these items. And what I tried to do was to organize it as best as possible. So all of this stuff is skelly drops, then end stuff, then nether stuff, and then the zombie stuff. Creepers, I only give us one thing. That's okay. That's okay. It's a very important thing. And then all the spider stuff, and then slime stuff. So one of the things that I'm going to do is for stuff that how many times have I said stuff? But for any of the items that I know we're going to get a lot of, there might be a regular sorting slice here with like, the whole hopper, and then the sorting system up on top of that. But then for something that I know we're really not going to get a lot of, what I think I might do is something like this, where then we have basically I'm going to change how the slice looks. And especially on this backside here, I'm going to have something like kind of crates and chests, and I'm hoping I get some mini blocks soon to also scatter around the floor. But what I want to do is to make it look like this like cluster of stuff that's not that's not just lined with chests. And so if I do the Nautilus shell, for example, it might only be in this top one to be sorted into. And then we could store extra like bulk shulkers of something else in this one. So it's not all going to be just line of chest, boring lines of chest. And then if I'm able to, like here, say, let's see, this one's still kind of a work in progress. If I do something similar to that, but I can put one of these up top. Hey, guess what? Helps if you do the item frame first. And then do this one down here. And then like run the hoppers along the backside. What we could be able to do here instead is run like supports for the roofs and stuff. So it's not all just going to be chests or anything. But I think y'all, I think I got enough of a knowledge of how that sorting system works to be able to finagle the hoppers just a little bit. Also, wait, I just realized behind this one, I will only be able to put hopper there, and I should probably have a solid block to prevent any transfer of items there, but something like that. So it's going to be a little bit tricky as far as space because, yeah, I'm going to need to terraform some of that ledge behind me. Because I'm breaking out into this open space here. So that's part of my corner right there. Is probably going to be the hardest part. Yeah, I just wish I keep running into other projects. Every time I start a new like storage area, I just keep bumping into other things, which is hilarious because we have so much space here. But you know, when you start working on things, you see all the limitations. So I've got to be careful how we're going to do filters and stuff, which is one of the reasons why I went that way, because as you see, it starts to open up. So we might be mostly okay. But I'm gonna have to watch, because the other thing we've got to do is I think the items are gonna come up here. And then they're just going to go all along this, like, kind of like a horseshoe, all the way around to here. Also, I had too many item frames. You guys are seeing all my terrible, horrible, like, messy build methods. So I think I'm going to leave it off there and hope to bring you back for a completed storage project here, and hopefully I figure out the direction for those flying farms inside the cave. Be right back. And welcome back, y'all. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to show you the results of my little distraction here. This was perfect and amazing. Just the distraction I needed to feel like I'm accomplishing things. So without further ado, I want to show y'all how the storage system turned out for the hostile mobs. It's a little bit chaotic, and I love it for that. So several things that you'll notice is there's mixtures of barrels and chests, and we have ender chests, crafting tables. Like, I tried to include all the essentials, all the basics that you would need when you're working in a space. So we do have, for example, a custom data pack with string and spider eyes, where we can custom make cobwebs. So that's why I needed to include a crafting table down here, or crafting bones, especially from bone meal if it starts to overflow. But basically everything is labeled with the first storage thing that it falls into. So like spectral arrows and bones, I knew we'd have a lot of, but I tried to help even break up the slices of the chests areas with the idea of like supports. And no, they're not even. Sorry if that triggers anyone. It's meant to be really, really organic and kind of like, as they needed support, they expanded the room out, stuff like that. The other thing I did, and you can kind of see some of the redstone, especially as you're moving around, like you can see straight back to the redstone, but I think overall, I mean, the torches, not so great, but overall, the redstone hides really well, and I'm very proud that I was able to give it such a unique vibe, but still have it all sort. So let's check back here. Ta-da! So this is where you'll have access to the looping redstone. I've given our storage master the cords to this, so hopefully we can still hook it up. I moved it a fair amount from where we first thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be like more in the like southeast corner of the build, so crossing my fingers I didn't change the game plan too much. But this is where it's going to, the main line is going to feed in from the multi-item sorter, go up and across. The water stream does go over this first hopper, but then it stops and it goes through the hopper line. And then these are just the regular impulse item sorters back here with a mostly straight set of lines for hoppers and stuff. But so like this where there's 2 slices stacked, that's the bone meal chest. But then on this side, it comes down and around, and I can't access oh, there, the barrel. So the barrel underneath is, okay, all right, I think it's phantom membranes, but let's double check. So yeah, so phantom membranes, we don't have very many. I tried not to sleep, but I'm a sleeper. I'm a sleeper, and I didn't want to hunt mobs. I wanted to figure this out, so I was inside anyway. So yeah, so some of the lines crisscross and do funny things. So like this one comes down here, and then this slice, this part of the slice comes around into the barrel on top of it. And then like back here, it does the same thing. So the like the sorting slice is up there, but the storage is all the way over here. Whereas the second slice right next to it has storage right there. So, and then there's one other barrel there also for magma cream. So the system back here looks, not gonna lie, it looks really janky from the back. But I knew that going in, it would be a little bit unique. And also these are outside blocks. So I had to change the terraforming just a little bit on this hill, but very, very minuscule amount. This area over here that I was afraid of that we were going to break out into, I didn't actually need in the whole configuration. So I didn't need to change this part, just a little bit of the hill up there. So I'm really proud of how this turned out. The last thing I'll point out, there is so after the final slice of the storage, it does come over here into like a miscellaneous. In case something gets into the sorting that isn't for hostile mobs or that we're not sorting, it comes out into this barrel with the lantern on it. So you'll see I did drop all of the stuff from main storage. I brought it over in shulkers and I put it at the feed at the start of the hopper line. And these were the only 2 things that didn't sort out. So I'm pretty sure, crossing my fingers, I'm pretty sure I didn't forget anything. But yeah, it took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I love the results. And shout out to Vault for helping me figure out the floor. I wanted it to be kind of stony gray, but I also wanted to diverge from the stone bricks of the rest of the build. Because I felt like it was like darker, deeper, danker. And he recommended the acacia, and I think it's just enough of a touch of gray, but it also works with the warmth of all the wood in here. So I think that means Zelda's got to get back to work on her flying farms. I mean, unless there's other distractions. Are there any other distractions out there? Let's go look for a distraction. How about? Welcome back from that time lapse, y'all. I think that was going to be officially our final distraction for the week, but I did want to bring you in while I am in this location because there's work going on the server, y'all. There is crazy work going on the server. I'm not the only one that got some actual time to build and play and really work on the server this week. And I knew when I came back from my last clip that there was going to be a very obvious difference in my levels, and I wanted to point out why that is. I just spent the night AFK here. This is our server's new gold farm, thanks to Burke615. I'll put a link to his Twitch channel down in the description below. He's played in both seasons of Hourglass, and he also streams over on Twitch also. So if you are interested, he's a very good technical player, and also I like his builds. Y'all, go give him some build love. He says all the time he's not super good at it, but check this out. He also incorporated an hourglass in the carpet. And you know what? Not everybody takes the time to put in little details like that to farms to make them look nice. So he's done something similar for us. He got the Guardian farm up this season and also the gold farm, and he does this nice thing where there's like symmetric storage and it's all very nice and accessible. So I really wanted to, I just picked up my stuff. I was making sure I had my wings on because as we leave, I don't want to accidentally fall and splat and lose my brand new shiny levels. But I wanted to take a minute and shout out Burke for the assistance with the farm. And then also, we have several other ones going up also, these farms. I don't think I showed a lot of the nether roof stuff in the first season, but we did. Nope. Okay, I should have my sounds on for this. Okay, well, I was going to stand up there and talk, but we'll fly and talk. But so there's a gas farm directly behind me, and then this one right next to it is the Hoglin farm. So it seems like, and then I know that Burke also mentioned he captured some hoglins because we're going to have a gold farm. So we are still using the nether roof for farms just because it is so much more efficient to come up here for most of the nether type farms. So I know it was something that I didn't show on video last time. Let's also turn our sounds back on while I'm thinking of it. Just because it will bother me if I don't hear them. But I wanted to show as much of the server this time as possible. And I don't know how to use slime drops, but there's apparently you can just walk out of it, but I always hit my head. So the very last thing I'm going to say, and of course it's time to sleep. Of course it's time to sleep. So the flying farms that I talked about primarily at the beginning, they're not going to get done this week. I made the executive decision to kind of prioritize my interest in the the building this time because I haven't actually put like permanent real blocks down in the world. I've been working so hard on storage and like planning, mapping it out, where the farms might go, stuff like that I wanted to build. So we did a little bit of the interior for the hostile mob farm, and then I was finally inspired. I finally had a direction to go. So what this build is going to be, our final distraction for the week, is going to be our Amethyst Storage. So very similar to what the hostile mob storage looks like down below. I'm going to come in here and work on feeding in some like storage chests along here. And then possibly there is a little bit of a sneaky like second floor. You probably saw me fill it in the time lapse. Like the roof from down below comes up into this room. There's not really an easy way to access it unless I put in another staircase, but like I couldn't figure out how to wrap this one so that it would land with that floor also and get to the top to have the good view. But so I've just got to work a little bit on getting the storage in here set up. And I think the only other change I'm going to make to the build itself is I want to use some actual amethyst, the different growth stages of the crystals. So I'm going to add those as one final detail to the outside of the We're calling it the Amethyst Cottage. Also, hello. That is like the 10th time I've run into that wall, so I'm gonna move it. It's like right where I want to stand usually. But I do think that this was a very successful week. Even though I didn't get the flying farms done, we'll be able to put those in place coming up soon, and I'll figure out my conundrum there with how I wanted it all to look. But I'm very excited to have a little place for the amethyst storage. So I'm going to stop waffling on right now. I'm going to show you a funny little clip from the time lapse of the amethyst build that happened while we were on stream. And then I will see you guys next week for episode 4. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye! Wait, did I just hear a skeleton? I have been lighting my build as I go. Oh, well, except for down here. I didn't light up down here. Can you shoot him, please?